Hey there, my friends. I'm Spencer Hughes coming at you from another glorious day in Western Washington, the South Sound of the beautiful Evergreen State. And I'll take another day of the sunshine. Talked to a friend of mine yesterday in California, and he had heard through the grapevine that it was going to be cold and rainy today. Well, it's neither, thank goodness. It is a glorious day. And we've been talking a little bit about Emmett Fox and the 7-day mental diet. And I wanted to spend a couple of extra minutes here kind of going through this. It's very simple, but not always easy. And Emmett Fox points out that it is hard for, and this was written in the 1930s, okay, the 1930s, a long time ago. He was a pioneer in the New Thought movement, and his work still has so much merit today. But he talked about how we're so engrossed in our thoughts and how we're so used to just thinking thousands of thoughts a day that it's hard for us to look at our thoughts objectively. And that's exactly what we must do. He says we must train ourselves to choose the subject of our thinking at any given time, and also to choose the emotional tone of our thinking, or what we would call our mood, that colors our thoughts. This all makes sense, right? It's simple, but not always easy to practice. We can choose our moods. We can. A lot of people think our moods are beyond our control somehow. And if we're not controlling our mood, who is? Other people can't control our moods. Indeed, if you could not choose your mood, you would have no real control over your life at all, says Fox. Moods habitually entertained produce the characteristic disposition of the person concerned, and it is his or her disposition that finally makes or mars a person's happiness. And he has a little bit of an equation here. Train yourself in every circumstance to choose the subject of your thinking and the mood that colors your thinking. So we're always in control of what we think about and the mood behind that thought, right? You could think of your aunt or a good friend or an acquaintance or something, or your boss at work, right? You could think of the person, that's the subject, but the mood around that thought colors everything. Meaning, sorry, the wind's blowing the camera around a little bit. Meaning that you can look at your boss in a good light or a bad light or a neutral light. You could be thinking of your aunt because she just did something really nice for you, or she just did something really horrible towards you. So it's the subject of the thinking plus the mood behind it that colors ultimately that thought. Emmett Fox points out you cannot be healthy, you cannot be happy, you cannot be prosperous if you have a bad disposition. If you're sulky, surly, or cynical, or depressed, or superior, or frightened, half out of your wits, your life cannot possibly be worth living. Unless you're determined to cultivate a good disposition, you may as well give up all hope of getting anything worthwhile out of life, and it is harder to tell you very plainly that this is the case. And a lot of us don't want to accept that. It is truth, though. Unless you're determined to cultivate a good disposition, you may as well give up all hope of getting anything worthwhile in life. You have most likely never achieved what you wanted to achieve in life through a bad disposition, a bad attitude, a sourpuss face. People who walk around with just a sour look on their face usually don't get what they want to get out of life, okay? If you're not determined to start in now and carefully select all day the kind of thoughts you are going to think, you may as well give up all hope of shaping your life into the kind of thing that you want it to be, because this is the only way, says Fox. In short, if you want to make your life happy and worthwhile, which is what God wishes you to make it, you must begin immediately to train yourself in the habit of thought selection and thought control. And Emmett Fox was a New Thought thinker and writer, and he wasn't saying of God like necessarily the God of the Bible, so don't be turned off by that term. A lot of these New Thought folks meant God in the sense of source, energy, the universe, the end-all, be-all, just the stuff that holds the universe together and keeps everything going. It wasn't necessarily a God in a religious sense. Fox says this will be exceedingly difficult for the first few days, but if you persevere, you will find that it will become rapidly easier, and it is actually the most interesting experiment that you could possibly make. In fact, this thought control is the most thrillingly interesting hobby that anyone can take up. You'll be amazed at the interesting things that you will learn about yourself, and you will get results almost from the beginning. So let's try this together. I did this years ago. I haven't done it in a long time, but I really need to do it for many aspects of my life right now. And that is Make it a hobby. Make it a hobby to focus on the things that you want and surround them with a mood that you think is beneficial to you receiving and accomplishing these things that you're envisioning. So picture what you want and have a good attitude about it. Have a good disposition about it. And we'll talk about this more very, very soon. You can find out more about Emmett Fox and New Thought and the Law of Attraction, the Law of Assumption, Neville Goddard, and more. And just a lot of health and wellness topics with an emphasis on mental health by going to my website, hughesfromtheheart.com. Thanks a lot, my friend. I appreciate you being out there. Sometimes I say I mean to say singular, because even though there may be several hundred people watching this video, I like referring to you in the singular because you're all individuals. You are all singular beings and eternal beings of light. So sometimes I'll say plural friends, but I try to just say friend because it's one of you watching me right now, right? One of you, and you mean the world to me. Much love and enjoy the rest of your day.